Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving Shorty. Today, we're going to take a quick little look at Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. Now, I get that that is a long-ass title for a comic book, but I'm down with it. Jerry Dugan himself has said they're going to bring it back. I like it. They should be bringing it back. Before we get too much into the comic book itself, though, you're going to have to find out something about me. I am more of a nerd than you think I am. And yes, I know you're probably thinking, Shorty, you own a comic book store, do video reviews on comic books, and you're standing by a Star Wars. Yeah, I know, but I'm also really into tabletop role-playing games, like not just into them, but I am president of our gaming society, our local gaming society. I also have helped like design games and playtest stuff and actually created some of my own stuff. I'm like big into it. And I also am a history buff. I have a degree in history and heritage and I helped set up permanent exhibits in places. And I've got to be honest, people I know, the history buffs and the tabletop RPG fans, that is a Venn diagram that's almost a circle. And one thing we like doing as a group is imagining stories that could involve characters from the same period in time but from different cultures. The period we usually go to is like the 1870s. I'm not going to lie, part of that comes from the fact that we're all English, or at least most people I hang out with, and in Victorian London there's a whole lot going on. Don't get me wrong, a whole lot of terrible stuff which led to the late-stage capitalism we're currently suffering through right now, but also huge advances and fantastic literature. In America there was the Wild West period going on, and again, that is a period of time which really interests me. 1878, Billy the Kid was riding. That kind of period, there's a lot going on, and don't get me wrong, overly romanticised and terrible for a lot of it, but still interesting and fun to talk about. In Japan, we had the end of the shogunates and the fall of the samurai, brought about in no small part by the colonialism and imperialism of the two other cultures we've just mentioned. But because there's so much going on, we always kind of think like how cool would it be if characters from those three environs all came together at the same time. And that's basically what Dugan and Brown done. Well, two of them at least. They've ignored Victorian London, and I don't blame them for that one. Instead, we've got a cowboy and a samurai, and I was a little bit unsure how they're going to bring them together. Don't get me wrong, there are ways you can do it. There's an awful lot of history you've got to take from to get people from these cultures to the same location. The fact that it went in a really different way than I was expecting was nice. It was a surprise, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit that they were going to go in that particular direction. I'm not going to spoil that for you, but I did really, really enjoy what they did in the end. It actually added more to the world that they're creating and gave me more reasons to come back and see what else they were going to do, because it gave them more options rather than just focusing on these two characters. Now, the only reason, with all that being said, this one didn't instantly make it onto my pull list was I wasn't too sure on the artist, Gary Brown. Now, it's not to say I didn't like his stuff, but I didn't really know much about him, and I could have poked around on his Instagram, or I could have even found an advanced look at his comic book to have a look at it, but I actually do prefer discovering things as and when I get hold of them, put them in my hands, and actually get to experience them for the first time. And that is when I realised, yeah, this guy's good. Works really well with Dugan, because Dugan likes telling big, over-the-top action kind of stories. I've heard some people criticise that he may not have been the right person to wrap up the Krakoan age. I've not been reading, so I couldn't really comment, but the stuff of his I have read, I think it'd be great doing like the X-Men 97 kind of thing. You'd have an awful lot of fun with that one. And the art for it really backs that up. It is full of action sequences that look absolutely brilliant. It's kinetic, it is bold. There's some wonderful posing of characters in there, which would make Frank Miller proud. It's also an art style that I really like. It is effectively mostly just black ink work with matte colour over the top, and when I used to do art when I was a much younger man, that's the style I used to do, because I was really bad at shading with colours. So just doing the shading with hatching and line work and then putting a matte colour over the top, I really like doing it. I almost got good at it. When I see it in comic books, I get a little bit jealous, because obviously I never got that good at it. But I also really like seeing it. I know the work that goes into it, and I know how they can make it work, and it looks fantastic. It's also a little bit scratchy, a little bit lo-fi, which again is exactly what I want out of it. But it does things with that style that are all spectacular. I've already told you about the action sequences. They are brilliant. The pose is fantastic. Fantastic onomatopoeia behind all of this stuff. It's really, really good looking. But then we get to the end, to that point where it does something that I wasn't expecting, and it kind of blows the doors off my expectations of the story. The artwork goes up a level as well. And I want to make sure that nobody thinks I'm criticising the artwork before. Like I say, it's exactly the kind of stuff I like, and it's done brilliantly. But when you do something I'm not expecting and do it well, that does elevate it a little bit. And what they do is just throw lashings of colour into it. So much so that in a couple of really decent panels and a fantastic splash page, we suddenly have a complete change in the story colour palette and the way it's presented to us. It is a surprise, don't get me wrong, but again, the story was a surprise, so it kind of works that, again, we have this story and the art working in fusion with each other, but it also shows that going forward, I've got just more to get excited about and more to look forward to. Now, don't get me wrong, I've also got the two main characters, which are fantastic, and the overarching plot, which I can't wait to get more into, But to say the art was the thing that kept me on the edge a little bit, it's really nice to know that that is actually a thing that dragged me into it and had made me put it now onto my pull list, and I'm going to read the rest of them as they come out. That's it from me for now, though. I do have more reviews this week. Keep checking back. Do the social media thing. If you like what you see, by the way, I genuinely don't mind if you tell people about me. Until I see you all again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.